Sahana vavatu Sahana bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant and may we not cavil at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us all. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you. We welcome all of you for the online satsang of the Sri Sathya Sai Baba Center of Arcadia. We started the study guide of the Aradhana Mahotsavam last week, and mainly this covers the 5 fundamental human values: Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, Ahimsa, which we talked about. That is truth, right conduct, peace, love, and non-violence. So now we go to the next value, love.
Next is love, Prema. Om Sri Sai Prema Pradaya Namah, who grants love. This name glorifies him as the source of Prema, the granter of Prema, the inspirer of Prema in all living beings. Baba often addresses gatherings as the embodiments of Prema, for he has come to help each one to recognize the spring of Prema. And what is that spring? It is himself, the Sai which is our reality, the Antaryami, the inner motivator. He grants the gifts of love from within the heart. Countless are the instances where, through his blessings, hearts hard as stones have softened into sympathy with all those who suffer. That is the measure of his grace. His Prema has healed old sores in the families where his picture is enshrined. Fathers and sons have come together again. Mothers have regained the love of their children. Brothers have embraced each other after years of estrangement. Family feuds have ended. Lawlessness has learned the sweet taste of peace. Pride has become humble. Palms have joined in prayer. He teaches mutual help and service. He assures us that he is in all, and he encourages brotherliness and loving deeds of sympathy. Satya is the current of electricity. Dharma is the wire that helps it flow. Shanti is the bulb which transmutes it. And Prema, Baba says, is the light. Next section. My mission is to grant you courage and joy, to drive away weakness and fear. He embraces everyone in his overwhelming love, and when he announces to a gathering, quote, I do not discard anyone, I cannot. It is not my nature to do so. Have no fear. I am yours, you are mine, unquote. Beyond worldly intimacy is immediately established between him and the seeker. As a result, his words sink deep into the consciousness and, striking root, slowly grow into good conduct and uplifting character. He addresses the gathering as one. His primary purpose is to awaken man from the sleep of ignorance and point out to him his real nature, the imperishable, immortal, divine self. He inspires with, quote, You are the invincible, unaffected by the ups and downs of life. A shadow which you cast while trudging along the road falls on dirt and dust, bush and briar, stone and sand, but you are not worried at all because you walk unscathed. So too, as the spiritual substance, you have no reason to be worried over the fate of the shadow, the body. Unquote. Baba makes this point very clear by many examples and thus infuses an unshakable courage. Quote, "My mission is to grant you courage and joy, drive away weakness and fear." Unquote. He has said on many occasions, quote, "Do not condemn yourselves as sinners. Sin is a misnomer for what are really errors. I shall pardon all your errors, provided you repent sincerely and resolve not to follow evil again. Pray to the Lord to give you strength to overcome the habits which had enticed you when you were ignorant." Unquote. Thus he kindles the flame of hope and health in every heart. By his sweetness, his overpowering compassion, and his words of wisdom, he has corrected the steps of hundreds and turned them toward the path of serving and striving. Next section. The way he lived and taught. Sai Baba also constantly emphasizes the need for meditation with the repeating of the name of God as an essential discipline for everyone. He gives detailed instructions and guidance to everyone who is eager to practice. So there are at the Prashanti Nilayam many devotees who engage in this type of worship for many hours a day. While Sai Baba is at Prashanti Nilayam, he is engaged all the time in the task of blessing devotees, giving them chances of seeing his grace, contacting him, making obeisance, conversing with him. He eats the simple food of the poorest of the land, food cooked and brought with devotion by the devotees at Nilayam. He sleeps on a bed spread on the floor. He sits on a chair placed generally on a platform in the west part of the hall during the singing of songs of love to God, and he gives darshan to all in the hall. He allows them to touch his feet whenever he comes down to the hall. Sai Baba gives to everyone hope and courage, contentment and faith, assurance and solace, because he says, quote, "Why fear when I am here? Put all your faith in me. I shall guide and guard you." Unquote. Next section. Sai Baba appeared happiest on that day. On the 7th day of Dasara festival, the poor are fed and clothes are distributed to the maimed and destitute. Someone asked Sai Baba why news of this mammoth function, in which about 4,000 or 5,000 persons are given clothes and saris, did not appear in any newspaper. Baba replied, quote, "I wonder why it should. When your kith and kin come to you and you feed them, do you invite the press and crave publicity?" Unquote. Sai Baba appears happiest on that day of all days, and it can be said to be his busiest day. He examines the kitchen and the preparation of the dishes and supervises the seating arrangements. Bending before the outheld leaves, he serves the sweets to almost everyone. He walks along the lane of the needy and selects those to whom clothes are to be given. Tickets are issued and names are later called out. Those in need walk up to Baba and receive from his hands the coveted present. It is an inspiring sight and a very heartwarming experience. He has a kind word for everyone. He treats the blind, the maimed, the very old, and the faltering with special consideration, asking the young to aid and guide them. He advises them to be careful and cautious in the dark and fashions kind inquiries about them. He makes the moment precious to everyone. Next section. Sathya Sai sets an example of love. There is a small primary school in Puttaparthi which Satya attended with his contemporaries for something nobler than learning to spell and write. The school at that time had a very harsh scheme of punishment to ensure punctuality. The lucky child who came in first and saluted the teacher, as well as the student who arrived next and also saluted, were exempt from punishment. Every other boy, for whatever reason, legitimate or not, who arrived late, was given a taste of the cane. The number of cuts across the hand depended on his place in the list of latecomers. In order to escape from this torture, the children gathered under the eaves of the schoolhouse long before sunrise, in rain or in fog. Satya saw the plight of and sympathized with his shivering playmates. He visited them under the eaves. Bringing shirts and towels from his home, he covered the boys and made them warm and comfortable. It's the end of this section. Over to you, Dr. Reddy, for comments.
Anyways, so this love we have talked quite a bit in many times with love guide. So I'll just summarize briefly a few points. Take home number one. So Swami repeatedly said, they didn't somehow cover in this, that is very important, that God is love, love is God, live in love. So these are all the mantras we should remember. God is love is God, live in love. And Swami also said, start the day with love, fill the day with love, end the day with love, and this is the way to God. These are the simple things we should remember always. And he says, love is, here told the stories how Swami was taking care of those classmates of his, and how Swami was providing clothes and shelter to people. And this instance, I was there, witness about time when Swami was giving water to millions of people in Andhra Pradesh. One of the ones that Chiranjirao, he used to be in charge of the ashram, he said, Swami, we should put in the newspaper like this person want to do. And Swami said, I was there with him in the interview room, if you give a knicker, pants and shirt to your child, will you tell everybody, hey, I gave my children pants and shirts, everybody know that? Will you tell that? These are all my children. My duty is to give water, and I don't need to talk about it. So this is the various examples we have. If you really love, you'll be giving and also forgiving. So any trouble, any mistakes, you forgive and you go on giving, and not with one hand, but with both the hands. Go on giving. That is Swami's love. And he wants us to be also live by that love, because that is the underlying value for all the values. For the Satya, love in thought is Satya. Love in action is Dharma. And love in feeling is peace. And love in understanding is non-violence. So these are the basic, like each one value, at least we remember some principles, sutras, then this good. Sai Ram.